Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Good afternoon, ladies and gents. I'm happy when I hear voices because there are too many seats that makes more noise than the voices. Without further ado, I would like to appreciate and welcome everybody who has come to this seminar. You've done a great deal for yourself to come in. Before you can even clap for me, you better start clapping for yourself. On the very same footing, I would like to appreciate the team that has made this a great deal of success. We've got the lights, we've got the cameras and everybody. Can everybody clap for the organization team? Lastly, I have been talking on this subject, growing, starting a business on a zero budget for some time. And it is a concept that I developed myself. You can go and read every book, you won't find it. So I'm standing here, I'm the concept. So I would like you to just clap in that you are talking to a concept. Okay, ladies and gents. Barely 2 weeks ago, South Africa was declared to be a junk status country economically, which simply means your credits, your expenditure, and the economic standing of the country is declared to be junk. Those who understand economics, it simply means those who are owing will owe for longer. If you are supposed to pay your loan in 12 months, because of the interest that must now be added, because the banks are bearing the greater risk on the funds that they gave to you, or your sister or myself, they have to then stretch the period even further for your payment. We started seeing people, social media, television and so forth, talking about South Africa being downgraded. Then the question that I ask myself is, what is the solution? Is the government the solution? And surprisingly, no. The solution lies in business, not in employment. We need to reconsider entrepreneurship, industrialization, manufacturing, and various professional services. Not to help each other, but to help the country as a whole. How many realize that? So, I am going to talk about business. The speaker preceding me has mouthfully and blatantly spoke about leadership. And he did that exceedingly well. And I'm of the view that he deserves a round of applause. Ladies and gents, I'm going to be very brief on these concepts that I've developed. There are a few of you standing here today who have known me for years. Others have known me while I was still a legal advisor. Others have known me since I was a student. Others have known me when I was still trying and ragging. And today I'm standing here to talk about practical theories and ideas that have worked for me. Not that they have made me better, but they have enabled me to assist others to be better. So take this small colloquy or workshop or seminar, whichever you decide to call this seminar to be, as an enlightening empowerment session. I'm going to share with you 4 concepts that are commonly known in business, which can assist me and you to grow a business or to even start on a zero budget. If anyone seated here can be asked the question, why are you not running a successful business? I'm certain that among the primary answers will be funding. Am I right or wrong? So if funding or finance be the key hump to growing or starting a business, then why will I be standing here and say, yes, you can? That simply means I've done it and I'm still doing it. So I'm going to share with you 4 concepts that are known. But before I share with you the concepts, I would like to acknowledge one person on our midst. We ran a seminar about 3 weeks ago, Mashazi. A month in Witbank. Through it, I shared the very same concept. Those who took it, they still communicate with me. And I want to first, before going far, want to acknowledge Innocent Tabete. Can you stand up and come in front and say? This young man here attended a seminar like this, of this setup, where I shared the very same 4 concepts that I will share with you and feasibly also assist you to implement or start them. He came to me with a bakery concept. He's like, I'm passionate about selling bread, but I can't have my own bakery. Then I'm like, so who said you need your own bakery to sell bread? While I will say further about him during my address, this man is having now a contract to supply over 1,500 pieces of bread a day without owning a bakery. Thank you very much. I'll show you how I got him and others to start without a budget. But before I do that, there are these 2 strategies that I always talk about, which I wish they knew or the youth knew about it. In your mind, I want to give you 2 colors. I want you to have a blue color in your mind. Can you see a blue color in your mind? And then secondly, I want to give you the red color. Can you see a red color in your mind? In any business you think you should start, you first need to consider whether you're going to go for the blue strategy or for the red strategy. What is a blue strategy? A blue strategy or philosophy is the one that focuses on creating something new out of what already exists, expanding from what is before you, and make sure that it becomes profitable enough for a better business. There are advantages of considering the blue strategy or business model. Amongst the advantages is less competition. If you think of something new out of something common, the chances of competition to be fierce around you are very little. I'll share with you an example of these 2 colors. While the red concept or the red strategy, there you are having businesses that already exist. You are jumping on a red sea. That sea is full of blood. The competition is fierce. Everybody's fighting for a survival. A dog eats dog. There are many businesses like those. For instance, you can't come to Pretoria and say, I want to run a successful attorney's practice specializing in criminal law, you'll walk next to your shoe. Those who are attorneys, I'm happy I see attorneys around us. They know how saturated is that market. You can't come and say, I want to start a business selling Coca-Cola. Those are no-go areas. But how do you take that which is common and make it work and make it extraordinary? How do you change the red ocean into a blue ocean? How do you create an opportunity that will assist me and you to have lesser and lesser competition? In short, how do we create a path that is less traveled by business-wise? Do you guys have blue and red in your minds? When I started my first business, I was just a mere legal advisor. I was not doing attorney's practice. Somebody knows. I see friends who are here who've seen me back in the days. No, how well are they? I was not an attorney. But I made more money than attorneys. So, I'm going to teach you first that how you can start or grow a business on a zero budget and help yourself, the country, and us to become a successful nation. While you are having the blue strategy in your mind, I want to introduce to you the concept of commission business. Everybody knows about the commission-based business. But how many people have really taken advantage of the financial or economic source that comes out of the commission business? Do you know, while you are seated here, you don't need to be a lawyer to get money from an attorney who's running a legal practice. I know most professionals, they talk about touting. But there's nothing touting, or there's nothing like touting if you are in an arrangement of some sort in a form of commission-based business. I have prepared just some brief slides to help you understand the crowd around the commission-based business. Because one thing that is common amongst every business, could it be IT, could it be selling bread, whatever, one thing common is growth. They all need customers. And they all need to expand their services. Who thinks I'm wrong? Raise your hand if you think I'm wrong. On that footing, I prepared just a brief slide on how one can successfully run a business without owning the business. Are you aware that most insurance companies are built by people who are not even employed in the name of brokers? A broker is an independent contractor. Simply means he's not employed by the insurance company, and he brings millions and dollars to every insurance business. And do you guys know that you don't need qualification to run as a commission agent for any business? If you come to me and say, I want to sell 500 bottles of your water a day, and I want 10 rands from it, I'll say, go for it. If you go to BMW now, I'm telling you, and say, I don't want to be working here, but I want to direct people who want to buy a BMW, and I want a commission out of it, I'll assure you now, no one will say no. That other day I took McDonald's. I did the same example of a garage. I say, let me show you that it's possible. There's a guy, his name is Sipombete, he's not here. Last month alone, he made over 125,000 rands out of just commission structuring only. He's like, MP, I'm going to stop working now. I did well for myself. Thank you very much. I'm like to him, no, you can't say you're going to stop working. You see, the more you make money, the more you want to work. The only people who don't want to work are those who don't want to make money. Because money has one thing integral in it. The more you have it, the more you want it. So, with this concept, guys, we can start very good businesses together in every sphere of business you can think of. I'll challenge you to give me any example of a business where you think you cannot get a commission business out of it. Can you think of any? Where you say, no, there's no way. You know what is this? It's called a percentage game. The next thing you need to know about commissioning business is, it's a game of percentage. You can't tell me or Toyota, or whichever business you can think of, that you'll sell one small fraction of their business and get a bigger turnout. It comes with its own challenges. And those challenges primarily simply mean you need to understand volume games. Attorneys who are sitting here, doctors who are sitting here, if I go to any of your offices now and say, employ me, my function will be to bring work. And I don't want any salary from you. The work that I bring, I want 5%. Attorneys, raise your hands. Are you going to say no? Dr. Peter, will you say no? Who runs a private business here? Retail or something? If I say I'll be buying bread from you every day, will you say no? Thank you. Then why you don't have a business? Why we don't have a business? Who then tells me you need money to start a business? Raise your hand. How? I'll want you to reserve your question. When it comes to question and answers, I saw 2 hands. They say, no, we still need money. Reserve your question. Simply put, I've put people sitting around the table. Can you see those people? It looks like a boardroom sort of setup. If you want to be successful in running a commission-based business, you need to be having people around you. You can't run it alone. People are trapped in Ponzi schemes. Have you heard of a Ponzi scheme? Because they don't understand that actually a Ponzi scheme is not business, but it's theft. Because you are told you get 10 people, you get the very same premiums of those 10 people that you get, and then those people get others, they get the same. Before you know, all the investment is circulated among the heads. And people come knocking at your door, triple M. Guys, we can sit together, as I've put there. I look at your business, you look at my business, I look at your business. From there, you draw out a business commissioning support. Imagine if a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an economist sits around the table and say, any problem in my practice that needs a lawyer, you are the first point of contact. Any business that needs a medication or a doctor, you are the first point of contact. Do you know that our businesses will be more profitable than they are now? I've done that. It has more profit. Mr. Mashazi wrote 2 books. If you come to Mr. Mashazi now, during this seminar, and say, Mr. Mashazi, I want 100 of your books. You say you are selling them for how much? 200 for today. Mr. Mashazi, I will sell all those 100 today, but I'm giving you 180. Are you going to say no? Nobody can say no. You know why? Time frame. In every business, if you don't set time for a specific outcome, you are running your business low. Or you might not even be able to make money out of it. You can't come to a person and say, let us deal on monthly payments, but I want you to pay me on an annual profit. That's an unfair time frame setup. You come to me and say, look, I'll give you 10 clients and I get a commission of a certain percentage on those 10 clients. And I'm achieving these 10 clients within 30 days in a month. I will tell him you're not going to make money. There is no business, ladies and gents, that cannot accept the strategy of commission. I bet you. I've tried it and it worked. And if you try it and it doesn't work, come back to me. I'll make it work. There's a gentleman, an example amongst us. There are, of course, many others. Anastasia will tell you, who sends us acknowledgements to say it works. Are you guys understanding the commission? So you can run a business from the top of your bed without even going out to clients, especially now we've got social media. All you need to do is just to find a structural way from which you can channel those businesses towards yourself so you can be able to get your profit out of it. Let me move to the next concept. It's another concept that I developed. I often call it the business retention method. It differs from commission-based. Or in most cases, they call it the agency agreement or agency business. The difference between the commission-based and the agency agreement is that the person has direct relations with the customers of the business. He's running the business as if it's his own. An agency form of a setup is a formal strategy. Most companies who use this are property companies. The people who are agents don't own those properties. Motor dealers also have a huge chunk of this. You don't need money. If you come to me and say, I want to be appointed as an agent of either of your business, all I want from you is a formal acknowledgement. And it is a bit dicey than commission because it might require either a normal or a formal agreement. In a sense of, give me uniform. You say, you are representing the business if it's your own. If you are in the mechanic business, you are wearing the uniform of that business. You've got business cards for that business. You are more direct. It's a direct radiation of the business. And the most important part of this, which differs from the first, is that it is profit share based or fee based. You need not require a percentage of what you make. Let me make an example. If you go to a company that is dealing in property letting and you become an agent for that particular company, at most the company discloses to you and say, these are our cost of the services. For example, if you are selling bread, they will tell you the cost of us making bread is 5 rand. The profit we make is 150. So you and I, we can only share on that 150. Now you say you don't have the globular percentage sharing. So you now have the advantage of knowing the internal confidential secret information of the business by being an agent. Same applies. Do we have any property agent here? Camilio, is Camilio? Oh, there he is there. If you go to any property dealing company, irrespective, you see, one thing that people don't understand is, in those two borders, I made the word normal and formal. I was saying formal in the sense that at some point, there could be legislative control within the agency agreement. For example, with property, you have the South African Property Owners Associations and others that have control on how you can appoint a person as an agent. You have the Estate Agency Act and the Estate Agency Forum that regulate all the estate agencies. Those are formal requirements, but it doesn't mean it cannot be done on a normal footing. I know many people who are running property businesses as agents, and they make money. Recently, I don't see the person I'm looking for. Recently, for my Johannesburg office, I signed a contract with one property company, handing over to me 16 buildings in Johannesburg. The property portfolio, you know about it? That property portfolio alone is close to 800 million rands. I don't own those buildings, but I'm in what you call an agency agreement fee with them. I'm responsible for the leasing, but it doesn't mean I'm managing the buildings. All that is, I create a skeleton company from which people looking for offices and residences in Joburg are directed to me. And it works. I didn't have to worry about buying a flat or a building. It works. So all I need to do is get on a proper share profit arrangement with them, or a fee. Sometimes you can even go in straight and say, look, I only want 1,000 rands. If it's within the capacity, they will say, go for it. Or I will say, go for it. Those who are in transport business, they should know that well. Where's Andrew? There's Andrew, he's in transport business. If I go to Andrew and say, Andrew, I need 10 trucks a week, from which I will give you a specific amount, which is 10% lesser or higher than what you charge. Will you say no? Never. Then what is it that causes small businesses to fail? Or what is it that makes you and I to fail in running business? I assure you, amongst others, is you are not looking in business with the eye of business. You are looking at business with the eye of making money. We all want money, but at most it is the money that destroys us. So with this particular strategy, I've made 3 blocks. There's one that is gold, there's one that is platinum-like, and there's one that is black. It's simply, you can decide whether you want gold, platinum, or black. Easy, guys. It is through business like this that I can be a partner with all of you one time. Who doesn't want that? Who wouldn't want to be a partner with me in this strategy? We can run the motor companies. I will go and negotiate. And then you help us find clients. We'll run all the manufacturing schemes. I'm into beverage business and others. And I tell you now, Coca-Cola is a big company, it's known globally. But they still want to even get more and more into the market. If I go to Coca-Cola and say, I've got my own space, I want a depot of Coca-Cola here, and these are the volumes that I will supply. You know how they are doing that? They are happy to accept you. It's called a retention strategy. Although I developed the term business retention, but that's what it is. So you can start and grow a business on a zero budget without anybody giving you money. Are we clear on that one? Clap hands for me. Let's move to the next slide, guys. All that I'm trying to show you is it's easy. And I believe you are seated there, you're like, hey, this man really makes it easy. But can I really do it? The third strategy that I've developed is called business acquisition strategy. Those who understand English, they know that there's a huge difference between retention and acquisition. With the previous strategy, you keep the business of whoever you are dealing with as an agent as it is. It's not your business. You just retain the services. You expand all those services. You create a blue ocean structure on it. But this time, you can also do an acquisition theory or an acquisition strategy and make a successful business out of it. You can see I've put people there. They're all pulling towards growth. But if you see what they're doing, they are pulling the growth to themselves. It's not the growth that's pulling them. Most often, we want to look for bigger figures instead of drawing bigger figures. What I'm trying to do there, these are businesses that are normally of professional nature. A person who is employed as a marketing director of a company or as an independent director in a company is running this strategy. And are you guys aware that mostly in these corporate companies, marketing directors earn more than their CEO? Check it. A marketing director doesn't own the company, but what he does, he's the one that acquires business. If you come to me and say, Shabangu, I want a desk in your office, and all that is, I want to serve as part of your staff that is responsible for business. It is within these structures that you find the three individuals that I've developed. I said, in every business, you need three things. You need a minder. A minder is the person that sits, mindful, take care of everything, administration of the business, runs it accordingly. Secondly, you need a finder. That's the one who go out there, find the business, bring the business. He doesn't mind. Somebody else minds it. And then lastly, you have the grinder. This is the one who does the actual work, grinding the work. So within this strategy, you see there are three. The first one could be a finder. The second one is a minder. The third one and the fourth one could be the grinders. In any business that we run and you don't have these, the chances of success are very small. That is why we are having a statistics that small businesses try for 2 to 3 years after that they go down. Because why? You have one person, he's the grinder, he's the minder, he's the finder. This can never work. He spoke about leadership so beautifully to say, if you're a driven leader with a vision, you need people who will carry your vision on. It's the same thing even in starting a business with a zero budget. You need people who will have the same mind with you and say, look, we don't have money, all of us. You find a job, I do the job, I mind the job. And as a matter of fact, I'm sorry to say this, I deal a lot with mining companies. I've realized that most of the CEO in the mining companies, they don't even understand mining. I assure you. That's why they spend more money on engineers, geologists, and artisans. If you come with a certain question on engineering-based issue, they say we must phone our engineering director, he'll direct us. The engineering director is there for only for a period of time. He's passing. You know why? Because they understand how to use one person to make money for everybody. And the moment you think you can use yourself to make money for yourself, you'll never run a business. You need to get into the acquisition theory or structure of wanting people who can find business, wanting people who can do business, and getting people who can mind the business. I can give you many examples here on both regulated and unregulated businesses. I always make use of pharmaceutical companies. There's a company called Aspen. How many know Aspen? Raise your hand. How many know Adcock Ingrams? Those are the two giants in the pharmaceutical space. In as far as they are doing medical business, it doesn't mean they only deal with people with medical qualifications. We have what you call genetics medication. Am I right, doctor? What are those medications? Those are the medications that you can find from the shelf, like your Disprin, your Panado, your Grandpa, and the likes. How many of us have stood up and say, I want to go to Adcock or in Aspen. I only want to distribute the genetics medication or generic. They don't need you to be a pharmacist. They only need you to say, give us a plan. Who you're going to supply them to. You tell me if you go to Aspen and say, I've got 500 stores from which I will supply Disprin daily. They will say, no, we need a pharmaceutical certificate. I assure you, you'll tell them I'm going to KitKat. They don't want you to go to KitKat. Those are the types of businesses that we are looking at under this business rendition strategy of retention. Who says it's impossible? Thank you very much. Clap for me. Guys, let's look at the last one before I can make my conclusion remarks. This one is known, but it has not been dealt with by people accordingly. I call it the client referral strategy. A person who does this strategy knows nothing at most about the business. The lawyers who are doing RAF, they tend to benefit the most out of this business. They have people in the police stations, hospitals, municipalities, who knows nothing about how to even lodge a personal injury claim. If there's an accident, they're the one that phone. Hey, Mrs. Hobel, I've got a client here. Come, let's take over before he dies. It looks like he's going to die within 2 hours. He refers the client, then they lodge the claim. Normally what happens is they have a certain referral fee that they give them. These are types of businesses, ladies and gents, that you can do at any given time and make more money than the professional itself. Because at most of the professionals, I'll tell you something, they are regulated. The Health Professional Council tells a doctor how much he must charge per consultation. The medical aid schemes, your Discovery and the likes, they tell the doctor you cannot charge more than this per consultation. But a person who does this business goes to the professional and say, I'll give you a business, I want so much. He puts his own fee. Why we don't have such businesses as black people? They are easy. Right amongst us here, we have different people with different qualifications, skills, education, and even capacity. You are sitting somewhere and say, I'm considering to do a business plan that I must submit to Standard Bank. Do you think they will give you? Do you really think they will give you? Right amongst ourselves, we've got different business women and men who can establish one of us here through the referral plan or referral strategy and make us successful. These concepts that I'm developing and I'm talking about are concepts that are meant to not only help me, but to make sure that the economy of the country and not of an individual is sustainable. This is the types of business that establishes various partnerships among service providers. You will notice that I've put fee and I've put volume. It simply means the more people you refer, the more money you make. I've got some of people like that who give me business referrals and they make more profit than me. It's true. Because every business is a volume business. The problem is we want to look at what we call BEE as a solution for our economic junk. BEE and tenders should be nothing but a manner. Just do one tender a year, it gives you that money, you go. But don't depend on tenders for business. That's not business. If you run a tender, don't tell me you're a business person. Because the first thing to show that you're not a business, every tender you get, the first person is SARS. You don't even need to spend that money. SARS already knows that Department of So-and-so gives you this tender and they will pay you so much. Before you are actually paid, they already calculated their money. It's a fact. Those who have done tenders here, they will tell you. Am I lying, sister? You might get your money 100% from the department, but few years or months down the line, they say, that tender, you were paid so much. You were supposed to pay me so much. That's not business. Irrespective of how many workers you've got, they want their percentage based on their tender. So what I'm trying to then teach you is that on this particular strategy, we can all here make money. You just identify one business through which you can say, I'm having a business dealership with. You can even identify various businesses. I don't run a pharmacy, but I've got friends who run pharmacies. And if somebody starts coughing in my office, I say, wait, let's call my friend now. It's true. I'm not a motor mechanic, but I've got friends who are mechanics. If somebody says, hey, my car has a problem with the gearbox, I say, you know what, let's try that other guy. He did my car very well, even if he didn't. Because I've got a percentage to get from that side. It's not that I'm lying, but I'm taking advantage. It's referral. Imagine if all of us, I'm sitting here, you see an opportunity through me to refer something to me, I see an opportunity to refer something to you. That's one thing that the Jewish people are doing so well at the expense of every African brother and sister. A Jewish man looks for a mechanic who's Jewish. He looks for a doctor who's Jewish. South Africa, we are sitting with a population of over 51 million. Only black people. We make about 85% of the population. But I can assure you now, you still have many major stream businesses that black people have no hand on. You know what's the problem? You want to deal with the captains of the industry. And the captains of the industry can only deal with you in as far as you are still good. You have flu tomorrow, they say, oh. And remember, the captains of the industry don't want you to overtake them. They don't want to see you as a black person making more money than you do. So imagine, as you are sitting here, we've got an optometrist amongst our midst. And I see, including myself, a number of us are wearing glasses. How do we then work to make sure that a person who's looking for eye checkups, lenses, glasses and so forth, or optometrist services, goes to one person from this room? And then that other lady, she's making magwinya. How do we make sure that every time or every morning, to those who love magwinya, they go to this lady for magwinya? Those who love fashion, like Selby, they go to him for fashion. Are you aware that with only this strategy, every black man will be a rich man? Who disagrees? Then why don't you clap hands for me? You will see under the volume, I also made 3 bowls to say you can choose in this type of business, whether you want to do it gold, platinum, or bronze. Those who want the slides, they can just inform Anastasia. It can be emailed to you to keep yourself and resonate around the ideas. And then let's start talking. We all can make money if we work together. And these ideas that I share and teach about are nothing but group working strategies. Business, as I always define it, business is people gathering together with one common view of making money. You might be a sole proprietor, but if you don't gather with me, I'm not wanting shares in your business, but gather with me to entrench your business while you entrench my business. We're all going to make money. I made this guy to stood up. After we attended, I did the very same talk in Witbank. The guy says to me, you know, I'm noticing that around my neighborhood, we all go to one Pakistani guy to buy bread, and it's distance. And the bread is always fresh. You know this bus bread? He says, MP, how can I do it? I'm like, go to the owner of that bakery and tell him he must less R1 on his bread. And then he gives you a certain volume. You must set the volume for yourself. But if you can't set it for yourself, let him set the volume for you. But the first thing is he less a rand. You know why you must less a rand? That's your profit. Don't look for 2 rands. Look for a rand. Then the guy say, hey, I will tell you, but hey, these people say, then go and see. Took you about a week negotiating. And then they drop 150 for that matter. And then they say, and then what do they say? We'll start baking 5 o'clock in the morning for ourselves. And then every bread we bake from 8 to 10 is your stock. And then from 12 upward is our stock again. And then look now, if this guy now signs a contract to acquire the business of distributing bread, he's not an agent. He's now a businessman. He can calculate his business right there. I have 1,500 bread a day at R1.50 profit. That's close to about 2,000 rands, about 1,700 a day. You times that by 30, how much is it? Does he need to know how to bake? Can you see how possible it is? All the businesses that you see standing out there, they are standing at the behest of us, Black Nation, who are the main consumers. We consume without attaching. Imagine on every product you have in your house, you have at least R1 profit out of it. It's possible. So these strategies that I share, commission-based, retention strategy, agency or acquisition strategy, and client referral business, it can work only if we are able to come together and be one partners. Imagine at the end of this year, we are sitting like this. We are discussing our shareholders year-end meeting. The doctor there says, because of the clients I got out of this, I've made so much profit. The truck owner, they say, I made so much profit. The optometrist says this. The lawyer says this. The beverage owner says this. The economist say that. The accountant says that. Who can touch us? Can we really be said to be a junk nation? Ladies and gents, it's possible. If you have not started a business, this is nothing but a platform from which you can start a business. Who disagrees? This is a platform from which you can grow your business if you have one. You don't need a loan. You don't need a loan. I need clients. He needs clients. He needs clients. Who doesn't need clients here? So I give you clients who give me clients. They always say one hand washes the other. But if you think you'll run your business as you've been running it all these years, that is why we go bankrupt, all of us. I'll challenge you to consider these strategies. Think about it as you live here. You know how many businesses you can own at a time? I'm talking here to future millionaires. I'm talking to people who are already in business and people who are about to start business, but the platform of business is right here. It's easy. I don't want to make it more complicated than I have. But now, in all this, you must think red or think blue. How do you extend my business from where it is? How do you extend your business from where it is? Or you're going to remain red and drown in the red ocean? It's a choice that we all have to make. I was actually telling my staff the other day, I'm about to quit law. Done. My aim was to do law for 5 years, and now I think I've overstayed my welcome. Do something else and quit also. You know why I quit? I leave it for others to run. Mr. Mashazi said, if you can't transfer the vision to the next person, even when we are sick, your business will be sick. He's not there. So if I quit law, I've got people like Neo Mawela who can say, Chair, we'll run it. If I quit beverages or finance business, I've got people who can carry on. Do you know that all the richest people in the world have become the richest, not out of one mainstream of income? They have all developed multifaceted ways of making an income. Even if it's 1 rand a day, that 1 rand a day at the end of the year, it gives you 365 rand. So guys, we are all business, women and men seated here. Let's make it work. Let's discuss this concept. Thank you very much for now.